Have you ever stood up from a chair and felt your legs hesitate, just for a second? Maybe you've brushed it off, thinking, maybe I sat too long, or, it's just part of getting older. But what if I told you? That little moment? That pause, that wobble, that faint feeling of weakness, it might be your body's way of whispering a warning. A warning that your legs, those strong, dependable legs that have carried you through decades of life, might be starting to fade. And if you're not careful, they might give out faster than you think. Now, I know that sounds dramatic. But stay with me, friend, because this is real. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in slowly, quietly. You notice you're avoiding stairs. You catch yourself leaning on walls or furniture just to feel steady. You take fewer walks. And when you do, they feel harder. And the scariest part? You're not even sure when it started. But here's the truth that nobody tells you. Your legs are often the very first part of your body to weaken as you age. Before the heart shows signs. Before your memory starts to slip. Before your energy changes. It's your legs. And if we ignore that slow fade, it can lead to some serious consequences: falls, fractures, long hospital stays, and even losing the independence you've worked so hard to hold on to. Now, don't worry, this isn't a message of fear. It's a wake-up call, with a solution. Because here's the good news, you have more power than you think. There are simple, natural steps you can take, starting with what's on your plate. In fact, there are 3 powerful foods that every senior should be eating right now to help keep their legs strong, their balance steady, and their independence intact. And we're going to dive into all of it, right here in this video. So, grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's talk about how to keep those legs of yours moving, steady, and ready for the life you still have ahead. But before we go any further, I want to hear from you. If you've ever worried about getting weaker or feeling unsteady, type "I'm here" in the comments so I know I'm not alone, and so others can see they're not alone either. And hey, if you want real, compassionate guidance on aging with strength and dignity, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to join our growing family here at Elderly Wisdom Guide. Alright, let's get into it. Because your legs? They deserve better than to fade quietly into the background. Let's bring them back to life, starting today. Picture this. Mr. Harold. 74 years old. Retired postman, full of stories, always had a spring in his step. Every morning like clockwork, he'd lace up his sneakers and take a walk around the block, rain or shine. It wasn't just exercise, it was his ritual. His time to breathe, reflect, move. But over the years, that 30-minute stroll slowly shrank to 20. Then 15. Eventually, just a short shuffle to the mailbox and back. When his daughter asked why, he smiled and said, I'm just getting old, sweetheart. But here's the thing. That's not just getting old. That's a red flag. You see, one of the very first signs that your legs are weakening is a change in your walking speed, or finding it harder to do simple things like standing up from a chair, getting off the couch, or climbing a small step. You might not even notice it at first. You'll adjust. Maybe push off the armrests a little harder. Take a break halfway up the stairs. Use the wall to steady yourself, thinking it's all part of the aging process. But in reality, this could be the start of something deeper. Here's what's going on inside your body. As we age, particularly after age 60, we begin to lose muscle mass. It's a natural process, but it accelerates when we stop using those muscles regularly. The big muscles in your thighs, your quadriceps and hamstrings, start to shrink. And that leads to a condition called sarcopenia. It starts off slow, just like Harold's walk. But it can pick up speed if we don't act. Now here's the kicker. Most people, maybe even you, just chalk it up to normal aging. We tell ourselves it's just how it is. And sadly, even some doctors don't raise concern unless there's already been a fall or an injury. But waiting for a fall to act? That's like ignoring the smoke until the house is on fire. We need to catch the smoke. We need to pay attention when walking becomes slower, when standing becomes harder. Because here's what happens if we don't: we become less mobile. That leads to less activity, which leads to more muscle loss. And before you know it, independence starts to slip away. But it doesn't have to. There are small, simple ways you can fight back. And no, you don't need a gym membership or heavy weights. You don't even need to leave your living room. Start with something as simple as seated leg lifts. Sit upright in your chair. Lift one leg, hold it straight out for a few seconds, and lower it back down. Do this during commercial breaks while watching TV. Add in light ankle weights or resistance bands if you're up for it. Or try this: next time you're getting up from a chair, don't use your hands. Push up using only your legs. It'll be tough at first, but that challenge is what makes the muscles grow back stronger. Because remember this: if you don't use it, you lose it. And I want you to keep using those legs for as long as you possibly can. To walk, to dance, to garden, to chase your grandkids around the yard. You deserve that. But it's not just about movement. What you eat, the fuel you give your body, matters just as much. Because there's a silent strength killer that sneaks in through the kitchen. Poor circulation. And it's stealing strength from your legs in ways you probably never imagined. Let's talk about that. Let me tell you about Margaret. 81 years old. A retired teacher, always sharp, always smiling. She loved knitting by the window in her cozy living room, cup of tea nearby, classical music playing softly in the background. But lately, she'd been bothered by something she couldn't quite explain. Her feet were always cold. Even with thick socks. Even when the heater was on. Sometimes, they tingled. Other times, they felt completely numb. She thought, maybe it's just bad circulation. No big deal. She mentioned it in passing to her doctor during a routine checkup, and they said, it's probably just age. But the truth? It was more concerning than anyone realized. Cold feet. Tingling. Numbness. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're often signs of reduced blood flow to the legs, and they could be pointing to something called peripheral artery disease, or PAD for short. When you have PAD, your arteries become narrower, usually from plaque buildup. And when that happens, your blood, your life source, can't get where it needs to go. Your legs and feet are the farthest from your heart, so they're the first to feel the effects. No oxygen-rich blood means your muscles, especially in your calves and thighs, get weak, fast. Imagine this: your muscles are like engines. And blood is the fuel. Now, what happens when the fuel line gets blocked? The engine sputters. Slows. Breaks down. That's exactly what's happening when your circulation is poor. And the most tragic part? Most people don't take it seriously, until it's too late. They say, it's just my blood pressure. It's probably the cold weather. Or they shrug and say, that's just what getting old feels like. But no. That's not the whole story. Poor circulation isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. It's robbing your legs of the strength and nourishment they need to keep you steady and independent. But here's where you can take back control. There are some simple things you can start doing today to help improve blood flow. Try elevating your legs when you're sitting. Just a pillow under the calves can help. Do some gentle stretches every morning, like pointing and flexing your toes, or rolling your ankles in circles. Stay hydrated. Blood moves better when your body's well watered. Even short walks, just around the house, can boost circulation dramatically. But, and this is important, what you eat matters just as much. Your blood vessels are lined with delicate tissue. And certain foods can actually help repair and strengthen those vessels, so blood flows more freely, delivering oxygen and nutrients where they're needed most. And don't worry, we're going to get into those 3 powerhouse foods very soon. But first, let's talk about something that may hit even closer to home. It's not about how fast you move, or how your legs feel on the outside. It's something deeper. Something harder to admit, but even more important to recognize. Because the third sign your legs are fading? It might just be the most emotionally difficult one to face. Let me tell you about John. 80 years old. A proud father, a Vietnam veteran, and, more than anything, a passionate gardener. For years, his backyard was his sanctuary. Tomatoes, herbs, roses, he had a gift. There was something so peaceful about him out there, hands in the soil, sun on his back. But one day, everything changed. He went out to trim the hedges like usual, and while stepping back, he nearly tripped over his rake. It didn't even cause a fall. But in that moment, something inside him shifted. He stopped going into the yard. Stopped pruning, stopped watering, stopped planting. Not because he physically couldn't, but because he didn't trust his legs anymore. That tiny scare planted a seed of fear. And fear can be just as damaging as physical weakness. Here's what many people don't realize: the moment someone begins to doubt their legs, everything changes. Your brain starts sending signals of caution. Your muscles tense up. Your steps become shorter, more hesitant. Your balance suffers. And then comes the anxiety. What if I fall? What if no one's around to help? What if I break something and lose my independence? Before you know it, they're walking less, standing less, doing less. And the less you use your legs, the faster they weaken. It becomes a vicious cycle. One that begins, not with the body, but with the mind. And here's where heartbreak often slips in. Loved ones may look at someone like John and think, he's just being lazy. Or, he used to be so active, what happened? But they don't see the fear. They don't feel the quiet panic when they stand up and feel unsteady. They don't hear the internal voice whispering, what if I fall this time? It's not stubbornness. It's not laziness. It's self-preservation. So, what can be done? The answer lies in rebuilding trust. In the legs. And in the person who owns them. Start small. Encourage short walks, in safe, familiar spaces. Hallways, the kitchen, even walking laps around the dining table. Let them feel steady ground beneath their feet again. Use mobility aids, a walker, a cane, not as crutches, but as tools. Temporary tools to rebuild confidence and independence. Balance exercises can help too. Like standing near a countertop and slowly shifting weight from one foot to the other. Or practicing gentle toe lifts while holding onto the back of a chair. Each small win builds confidence. Each step reinforces the truth, yes, I can still do this. Because here's what I want you to remember, your legs aren't just muscles and bones. They're freedom. They're how you move through the world, how you live your life. And confidence? That's the key to unlocking that freedom again. But even with all the movement, all the training, all the patience, there's one more piece to the puzzle, and this one might just be the most powerful of all. Because your body can't rebuild strength. It can't repair muscles. It can't fuel confidence. Without the right food. Let's talk about the 3 essential foods every senior should be eating to keep their legs strong, their energy steady, and their independence alive. Alright, now that we've talked about the warning signs, let's shift to something empowering. Because no matter where you are in your journey, whether your legs feel strong today or a little shaky, what you put on your plate matters more than you think. You don't need fancy pills. You don't need complicated diets. You just need a few simple, powerful foods that speak directly to your muscles, your bones, and your circulation. Here are 3 of the most important foods every senior should be eating to keep their legs strong, healthy, and mobile, well into the later years. Let's start with the first one. Salmon, the muscle healer and circulation booster. Salmon is like gold for your legs. It's packed with high-quality protein, which is essential for preserving muscle. And just as important, it's rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which help reduce inflammation and improve blood flow. You see, as we age, our muscles naturally shrink, a process called sarcopenia. But the body still responds incredibly well to protein. And salmon delivers the kind your muscles love. But that's not all. Omega-3s help keep the arteries flexible and your blood flowing smoothly. That means better circulation to your legs, more oxygen, and stronger muscle response. So how do you add salmon to your meals? It's easier than you think. You can grill it, bake it, or even buy it pre-cooked. Add it to a salad. Make a sandwich. Or just serve it with steamed veggies for dinner. Worried about cost? Canned salmon works too, it's just as rich in nutrients and budget-friendly. Common myth, fish is too fatty, isn't it? Actually, the fat in salmon is the good kind, the kind that fights inflammation, not causes it. And no, you don't need to eat it every day. Even twice a week can make a real difference. Second food on the list. Leafy greens, the unsung bone protectors. Next up, leafy greens like spinach, kale, and collard greens. These may not seem like leg foods at first glance, but they're crucial. Why? Because strong legs aren't just about muscle. They need a solid foundation, and that means strong bones. Leafy greens are packed with calcium, magnesium, and vitamin K, all essential for bone health. Without these nutrients, your bones can become brittle. And that means even a small stumble can lead to a serious break. You don't want strong muscles around fragile bones. You want both working together. So, how can you get more greens in your diet? Add a handful of spinach into scrambled eggs. Toss kale into soups. Make a quick stir-fry with garlic and olive oil. Or blend some greens into a smoothie with banana and yogurt, you won't even taste it. Common myth, only dairy gives you strong bones. Not true. While dairy is good, leafy greens are just as powerful. Especially for people who don't tolerate milk well or prefer plant-based sources. And here's a bonus, these greens also help reduce leg swelling thanks to their natural anti-inflammatory properties. The third and final food on the list. Beans, the energy-packed muscle fuel. Beans are one of the most affordable, accessible, and overlooked power foods for seniors. Black beans, chickpeas, lentils, pick your favorite. Why do they matter? Because beans give you a triple threat: protein to support muscle growth, fiber to keep blood sugar steady, iron and B vitamins to fight fatigue. Muscles need energy to stay strong, especially during walks or exercise. And if your energy crashes, you'll move less, and leg strength declines fast. Beans release energy slowly, which means you stay active longer without feeling drained. And don't forget, beans are great for the heart. A healthy heart pumps stronger blood flow to the legs, which keeps those muscles fueled and oxygenated. So how do you work them into your meals? Add beans to soups or stews. Use hummus, made from chickpeas, as a spread. Make a quick bean salad with olive oil, lemon, and herbs. Or mix cooked lentils into rice or pasta. Common myth, beans cause bloating, I can't eat them. That can happen if you're not used to them. But here's the trick, start with small portions and rinse canned beans thoroughly to remove the compounds that cause gas. Over time, your body adjusts beautifully. So, to recap, salmon to rebuild muscle and improve circulation, leafy greens to strengthen bones and reduce inflammation, beans to fuel your energy and support muscle repair. These aren't just good foods. They're leg protectors. They're strength boosters. They're a form of love you give your body, every single time you eat them. It's not easy, is it? Watching your legs slow down. Feeling that little wobble when you stand. Or noticing it in someone you love, how they hesitate before getting out of a chair. How they reach for the wall, how their once confident stride has turned cautious, unsure. It can feel like betrayal. Like your body is slipping away, one step at a time. And worse than that, it can feel like losing a part of your freedom. Your legs aren't just limbs, they're your link to the world. They carried you through decades of life. Through raising kids. Through work. Through laughter, vacations, birthdays, and heartaches too. So, when they start to weaken, it's more than physical. It's personal. It's emotional. It's grief in slow motion. But here's the truth I want you to hear loud and clear, it's not too late. Not even close. Your body may age, yes. But it never stops responding to care. Every little stretch. Every bite of nutritious food. Every attempt at a gentle walk. It's all a signal. A message that says, I'm not giving up on myself. Because when you fight for your legs, you're really fighting for your independence. For your freedom. For your right to keep writing your story the way you choose. You're saying, I want to play with my grandkids on the floor. I want to water my garden next spring. I want to walk without fear. I want to feel strong again. And you can. So today, do something small. But do something. Go check your fridge. Do you have eggs? Some leafy greens? A can of sardines tucked in the back? If not, write them down for your next grocery trip. Because the steps back to strength, they start with the smallest choices. Maybe you can't change everything overnight. But you can take control of one moment at a time. And I promise you this, your legs may fade first, but they can come back. They can get stronger. More reliable. More steady. They are not done carrying you. Not yet. Because you still have chapters to live. Moments to enjoy. People to love. And stories to share. So, take care of them. Believe in them. And don't give up on them. Because they're not just holding up your body. They're holding up your life. And it's a life worth standing tall for. Let's take a moment to bring it all together. We talked about something so many people feel but rarely talk about, leg weakness. Why it's often the first real sign of aging. Why it matters more than we often admit. And what it can mean for your strength, your freedom, and your future. We looked at 3 important signs: slower walking or trouble getting up from a chair, that constant tingling or cold feeling in the feet, and that quiet, creeping fear of standing or walking, often mistaken for laziness or lack of will. And then, we didn't stop at just talking about the problem, we offered a solution. 3 powerful foods to fuel your legs back to strength: fatty fish, for joint health and long-term mobility; leafy greens, to boost circulation and nerve support; and beans, for muscle repair and bone power. These aren't exotic ingredients. They're simple, real foods that can do incredible things, if we give them a chance. But now, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed your legs getting weaker with age? Have you made changes, big or small, that helped you feel stronger? Or are you just starting that journey right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you're feeling, what's helped you, or even what you're struggling with. Because this space, this channel, isn't just here to talk at you. It's here to walk with you. And trust me, I read every single comment. Because behind every username, there's a real person. Someone with a story. A body that's been through decades of life. And a heart that still wants to thrive. If this video helped you, even just a little, consider subscribing to Elderly Wisdom Guide. We're building more than a channel. We're building a community, one that looks out for each other. Shares tips, encouragement, and yes, sometimes even tough truths. Because you deserve the kind of guidance that respects your years and honors your journey. And hey, if you think someone you love could benefit from this video, send it their way. Sometimes, the right words at the right time can make all the difference. Thank you for spending this time with me. Really, thank you. Your attention, your presence, it means the world. So, until next time, stay strong. Stay curious. And as always, keep walking toward a healthier, happier you. I'll see you in the next video.